See here, I'm collecting leaves, and look at all the tomatoes still growing here. Isn't that amazing? All through here, we're still getting a whole bunch of tomatoes, the whole bottom. There must be 30 tomatoes in that one area, and then it's growing up against the house. So the base of the plant is up against the house where it's staying warm, but the outside of the plant doesn't care what the temperature is. And that's the main thing here. Cool. Can you guess where I'm at? I'm sitting in the secret garden. Is this the most beautiful view you can get by just sitting here and looking out? Look at the hillsides. They're all green. From all the rain we've had, all the grasses are growing, the wild plants are growing. This is beautiful. Hi, this is Robbie from Southern California, and I'm going to do, which I hope to be, a very quick garden tour since there's not a lot going on during the holiday season and we're going in the winter. I just was sitting here and thinking this is such a cool place to sit. I love it here. Remind me if I forget that my phone is here because I'll forget where I left it. So let's look around here what Gary has done, because I haven't been back here till just now. I decided to come through here. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. Look at this. So what he's doing is he's putting, I guess, some of his old wood chips. We haven't gotten wood chips in years. He's putting the wood chips here and he's building like a path so we can walk all the way across. And I guess he's figuring out how he's going to plant here. Right now he's doing dragon fruit. That's going to be very big. We love our dragon fruit. It's amazing, you give somebody a dragon fruit and they look at it and they go, like, I'm not going to eat that. It looks odd. Once you eat it, you'll be hooked. I had never eaten one either until we grew our own. Oh, look, can you see down there? Let me zoom in. This is where all the rushing water was going. Oh my goodness, I have not seen that. I haven't hiked down there. That was a major river the other day. We had so much rain so fast, and it lasted most of the night, that it was just creating a river. Wow. Anyways, going back to this, you can see I've got a lot of citrus trees. They were here when we got this property a while back. So those citrus trees were there and they were doing really bad for various reasons, but they're doing good now. And then this is my bird garden, which is on the other side. See the fountain there? That's the ball fountain. So what I've got going here is a lot of tree collard. And sometimes you don't see how much I've got until you come to this side of the wall. That's purple tree collard going through, lemon verbena on the top there. Back there we have various citrus trees, oranges. They're hard to get to. I mean, you can get to them, but they're hard to get to. The orange trees you can get to, the tangerine trees. Now the boxes are going. These wooden boxes he built, he said they're falling apart. You could never grow in them. Everything dried out here. I gave up right away and decided not to even bother. Oh, you know what this is? This is birdseed. And it's growing a little seed for the birds that falls there and grows. So what he's planning on here, and then I might put containers in between, let's zoom out a little bit, is he's going to get finally all the dragon fruit that we bought last year, I guess early this year. That's a red dragon fruit. So the inside will be red as well as the outside. Where a lot of the ones we're growing, these over here, they're the white ones. They're pretty much all picked. See that? Now those grow the red dragon fruit, but they're white inside, but boy, are they good. They are really, really good. And then this is an old one, and that's coming back really, really nice. Then this, of course, is tree collard. Now, you know, this year, going into next spring, I'm going to make a point of telling you we need to make our own soil. You're going to be sick of hearing me say soil, but here's the thing. New gardeners especially, they're buying soil and then they're messaging me. What's going on? Why isn't it growing? I did everything you said. I'm buying even new starts and they're not growing. You know what the problem was? The soil was no good. There were persistent herbicides in there, which means it lasts a long time. Things like maybe from golf courses and different farms, and it was coming out of different animals, the manure that they were putting in there. It takes a long time to break down. So as you're trying to grow something, all you're doing is putting plants in there that will stay stunted and not grow at all. That's why we have to make our own soil. Not only is it free, it's better. Look around. Those citrus trees there, they're growing with their own leaves falling. all these plants that you see around you are growing with their own leaves falling on the ground. And this is what happens. They start beautiful and green. They go off color. Then they turn yellow. And then they fall on the ground. And what happens? They turn into soil, which most of you want to call compost. But this is what they're growing in, and that is nutrition. So anyways, he's got that going. He's got this one. This is an older one. Oh, yeah, let's look, see this. See, these are aerial roots. And it grabs onto things. I've got so many ideas on how I want to get some of this started in different ways. Let me see, I can't go out anymore. All right, oh, there is a dragon fruit there. There's one still there, a little green one. I don't know if it'll make it. I mean, we're hitting 30s at night, but we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. But look at this. This here is a root, right? Look at this. Follow this down with me. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Talk about being determined to set roots. Wow, I don't want to disturb that thing. So let's, not that it makes a difference, but isn't that something? Look how long that is. It's about almost 2 feet. And it's created its own root system down there. I don't know if it will grow a plant off of that or it's just going to grab some nutrients there. But that is really, really cool. But for your plants, all you have to do is this. You can be a lazy gardener. Just throw your leaves on top and let it break down on its own. That's all you need to do. Let's go up back here. This is what he's put bricks here for benches. You know what? I better take my phone and put it somewhere else because I will forget it's here. And then I'll be asking you guys, where did I put it? Of course, I can watch my own video. Is this cool? These are the steps he built. And this is my ginger. Let's just take a walk and talk about what we can really grow now. I'm going to sit my phone and sit it here right now. He's working on this right now. So he put a cement pad here. And I can put in totes here, whatever I want. He's been working on this for a long time. Now he's going to pour the cement back there, and it will be someplace to either sit or have totes or planters or both. So that's what he's been working on. The ginger and the turmeric, well, I think by next month it's going to be gone. What's cute is the flowers are still trying to grow. Look at that. There's different zinnias in there. But this will be nice because I want to start dumping this, going through them, separating them, and then I'm going to have all the ginger and turmeric I want, and I'm going to plant more. I'm going to just as much as I can. And I've been using a lot of turmeric and things. So this is still growing really good. Why? Look how green it is. The wall is warm. And when the wall is warm, that is very important because that's what's going to keep this growing. But the thing is, I don't want to really empty them now, though I can, because in another month, as all this turns brown, it's bringing all the nutrients back into the tubers, the rhizomes, and they're going to get bigger and be full of nutrition. So I'm going to wait. And then we'll look inside the not the ice cream container, the milk container, and see what was going on in there. Okay, let's go backwards. I want to expand this. Just some flowers. Let's turn around this way. The front yard, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But right now I'm just letting it do its own thing. The brassicas are growing beautifully. You know, you go online, it says, oh, it's winter now. You can grow broccoli, arugula, mustard, beets, carrots, radishes. Well, yeah, but if you're under snow, it's too late. What you needed to really do is already have it established. Because once it's cold, really cold, a lot of that stuff won't grow. You can start it inside and bring it outside, but the whole idea, it's kind of like winter squash. You don't grow winter squash in the winter. You grow winter squash when you're growing everything else because you're storing it. Well, if you're under snow, you're going to have to wait until the snow melts. If you're here in Southern California, yeah, but the thing that's going to grow better are the ones that are already established. And they love this weather. As far as baby plants, they're going to grow, but they're going to grow really, really slow. So I'm just catering to what's here already. And that's what I do here. Everybody does it their own way. Now the driveway. Here I'm going through little by little and I'm harvesting things out and I'm leaving a lot of stuff for wildlife. The birds, they need a lot of things. Not too many butterflies, but there are some. So I kind of leave flowers and different things. This has been a surprise. I keep finding tomatoes. Oh, look at this. Now this is lettuce. Now I can move this lettuce. It won't grow when it's, let's see, I can take this out. That's just a stick. Got some onions in here too growing, but here's the thing. The lettuce will stay really small unless I separate it. So it's all competing and they stay kind of stunted. But the moment you move them, you move one or two, they just blow into big, big plants, which is so great. So I can leave them like that and move them when I want. Now, if I leave them too long, in about 6 months, it might be too late, and then they won't grow really well. So here, I'm going to go through and decide when I'm going to plant in the spring. Still getting eggplant. I've got one I'll be picking fairly soon. It's down on the bottom. You got the eggplant, you saw it before. And I've got more flowers because it's covered in plastic. So it's kind of got its own greenhouse. It's being tricked to grow a little bit more. The peppers are doing good. I keep picking peppers. See the red ones and then the black. And then I have tiny ones coming through. So the peppers are still growing. The Malabar spinach hasn't died back, and I don't know why. Normally it does. Of course, the corn has to be harvested. That's going to turn into soil. The tomatoes keep growing. And they've been attacked by hornworms because I have no birds to take the hornworms off. So periodically there's a hornworm, and then that's been kind of pulling it back a little bit. Look at this, I've got an okra. I better get this off because okra season is over, yet it's still trying to grow. The cucumbers, I've picked most of them. I don't know if I'll get any more. There is a little one back here, a couple little ones. I may get another one or two, we'll have to see. And then this is what the birds are just thriving on. This is so important for any bees that are around, butterflies, and then it turns into seeds, and this is what's feeding the birds that are flying around here right now. They need those seeds. There's not a lot of food. So as you can see, everything is kind of Now here I've got some potatoes growing, but I don't know yet what I'm going to do with this area. That's potatoes. I keep it covered so nothing bothers it. Got a potato mint down there, but we're too cold right now. And more potatoes growing in there. I really like using the 5-gallon buckets. Now the reason I like 5-gallon buckets is it's easy to pick up, tip into a wheelbarrow or a tote or something, collect your potatoes, then rebuild your soil back and grow more. It's just easy. It's easy for me. You can even do it smaller. I've got some other ways I'm growing potatoes right now. Here too, I will go through this in the spring. In the meantime, during the winter, I can slowly come out here. I can do it with a chair. I can do it by standing. I can just go through and then I can decide where I want to plant what and start throwing leaves in there. My meadow is slowly returning back to earth. As you can see, a lot of it is turning brown. It's going to rebuild new soil. I'll probably use a lot of the stocky stuff, the stems, and put that in totes and stuff, and then see like this, and then maybe throw some leaves back there. And then what I'll do in the spring is take a lot of my old seeds and just throw them out there. So if peppers grow, more tomatoes grow, celery, whatever I've got, old stuff, even beans, I'll throw some old bean seeds in there. That will be good, and I let it do its thing in the wild. That's everything. Isn't it quiet? Of course, somebody's doing something. You can hear pounding off and on. Here too, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I would call this unsuccessful. Hear the pounding? They're working on that big yellow house. Because though I got a lot of Swiss chard, which has been fantastic, and I see an avocado tree back there. Look at the Swiss chard. Look at the avocado tree. They come up everywhere. The ravens drop the pits everywhere, and that's what's causing a lot of that. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I could tarp it, but then I have to worry about the wind. If the wind is going to blow the tarp and maybe get, let's say, ginger or turmeric in there. But then again, I'd have to keep in containers because I want to be able to know where my ginger and turmeric is, not have to be digging through the soil for it. I'm not sure. I think I might take a step back and decide if I want to do this again. I'm not even sure what's growing. Okay, this is, okay, the squash is coming back from the roots that I had in here. And I'm not sure what that was. There's more avocado back there. There's another avocado. The avocado trees are taking up. Oh my goodness. I have a zucchini. Yes, that I will get off. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So that is a success. And then I've got all these shark fin melons that I don't do anything with. Oh my gosh, there's 3 of them here. There's more in the house. There's a couple of them back there. Gary's picked some, and I don't know, he said he cooked them. I didn't see them. As you can see, the avocado tree is gone. It was in the way. And I finally stepped back and thought, it's just something I'm walking around and I don't need. I want to get another tote set up here, a big one with 2 chairs. So I'm making compost tea constantly. And you know how I do the 2 system. So I'm going to get something set up in here. These trees, I don't think will ever do anything much than what you see. And that's because of the pepper tree. This giant pepper tree is going to take everything it can from everything it can. So, and I don't want to take it out. So we're just going to have to live with it. Remember, this tree, I don't know how many years ago, 8 years ago, split in half. So what you see there, half came down the hill and Gary had to clear it. And yet it's made such a wonderful comeback. And then hopefully we'll have hawks, because last year somebody let raccoons loose and the raccoons went in there and slaughtered the mother and the babies and eggs and everything. So hopefully he'll find a new mate and he'll do it again like he did all those other years. So we'll see. The turmeric did wonderful here. It's slowly dying back. It still has green stalks. The edges are turning brown here, but that's good, because that means that the rhizomes inside, what they're doing is they're getting bigger. All the nutrients are going back. We'll see what's in this one if I decide to take it apart, because these were a lot of little teeny little pieces. So we'll see, but this is all turmeric on that table. And then I've got a little bit of ginger over there. But I'm gonna, I think, set up more here, because this was really very successful. And then the chair garden, haven't done anything. So there's no use in even seeing anything. Everything is the same, what you saw last month or 2 weeks ago. But you know, I'm still coming out here and foraging. I'm still getting tomatoes. I'm still getting greens. I'm getting celery, onions, garlic, chives. No real squash on it, yet it's still trying. It is trying, but that's all coming out. So when I'm ready, and there is carrots in here. I do pull carrots out of here. And then the sow thistle, again, a lot of this stuff is left for the birds. Otherwise, they don't have any food. So I don't need it right now, so let them have it. So that's what's been going on here. Here's my junk pile. This is where I go and collect things as chairs or whatever else Gary's picked up and thrown here. Even there's something my daughter picked up once in the trash. Look at that, a fire pit. And that, you know, she'll pick it up. You better come over here and get it. So this is kind of stuff we're going to look through, see what we need, what we don't need. And then, of course, the chairs, I will be using all the chairs. And the cages are always good to drop on top of a new tree that you want to plant somewhere. So that's what's going on here. Doghouse, well, that was here too when we got it. My polka dot plants in here, this is a tote that was broke on the top, an old tote, and I trimmed it down. Well, look, they've kind of gone the seed. Isn't that cool? So maybe I'll have some babies later I can move around. They're such cool plants. They use them for indoor plants. Then my papaya, oh, I can undo this now because it's morning. I'm trying to make sure nothing happens to my poor papaya with the freeze. Just used, this is a shower curtain that I got at the Dollar Tree, and just kind of wrap it around with some metal clips at night. And then I try to remember to open it up in the morning. See, this tree didn't make it. This one died back. This one's still going, so we'll see. And then, of course, I've got that one up there. And then all the other stuff, and then projects I'm getting ready to do. And then what's here? Well, that's where the secret garden is, the hidden garden. And then my rosemary. And then, of course, the rainbow garden. My favorite garden of them all. No, I think the bird garden is. This is what I want to set up over by the chair garden, because this is a 2 system. So I lift this bucket, you know how it works. I put all my stuff in here, leaves, kitchen scraps, whatever, put the bucket back. The worms are full in there, and then anything you water in there, that is gold. That water that comes out of there is gold. I'll set that up in the spring. Here's a potato mint, still getting tomatoes. I've got a lot of cuttings off of these plants. This is so amazing. This one, if you put it in the shade, it doesn't get a lot of sun, then it will be green with purple. But if you put it in full sun, look how purple it is. And I add that to a lot of our food. And then the Korean melons, they're done. I don't know if they'll make it. And then these are just some zinnias, just just from a flower I picked in my own yard, just threw it in this pot, and they're growing. And this is my lettuce that I planted in here. Just covering it so I won't get whitefly or the birds eating it. So I'm going to do a lot of that. We can make a lot of these out of totes, tote lids. I've got videos on that, and these things last for years. And if the tool goes bad, all you have to do is just staple it back on with a regular paper stapler. The other thing you can do is cover it in plastic if needed. And then my pepino, I'm doing cuttings off of this. I've got another pepper plant that came up from seed, some red vein sorrel. And look at that, milkweed came up from seed. Cool. Oh, and this is potatoes here. So this is a smaller bucket. I want to see how many potatoes I get out of a small bucket. Oh, look at that split off, and we've got more coming through here. And then peppers, look at this. It's sheltered enough that it's going to continue to grow peppers even in the cold weather. And then of course I've got the tomatoes growing here, and look, I've got to get that cucumber off. I think it's done. I don't think it's going to throw any more cucumbers. And this was these little tiny pieces of the black turmeric I had, and I threw it in a cup. So we'll see what happens with that. More tomatoes. And then back there, you see my wheelbarrow, and then I've got onions growing in there, and I've got potatoes in the other dish pan. Those are dish pans. I love my dish pans. See, this is what I was telling you. These propagating plants are doing fantastic. This is the purple one. Look at this. And see how it's slight purple? But when you put this out in the sun, because right now there's a canopy above us, so later on it will just get so deep purple when I find a place where I want to plant it. I've got tree colored in here. I'm hoping this tomato plant slows down because I want to plant this out in the spring. This is sun gold. It's a cutting just before the plant died away. So I want to be able to have a plant ready to go in the spring. Another tree collard, more tree collards growing, a bunch of these purple ones growing. This has been fantastic. I just keep this covered. If you were in an area where you were getting snow, you could cover part of this with plastic. You don't even have to do the whole thing. You're making it yourself, so you could cover part of it with plastic or all of it any way you want. Same thing there, and this one is just a flat top because I've only got a few things in there. So that's what's going on here. Then I've got my pizza garden, which is still going strong. I picked a bunch of peppers yesterday. See, it got cold last night. We were probably in the 30s. See how some of the leaves got really cold? I could, with the tubing here, drape some plastic over it if I want to. I'll have to decide. Maybe I will. But look, I still have peppers growing. Yeah, not happy with the cold, even though it's up against the house. Then I've got sage and basil still growing. Some more tomato plants still growing. These are really, oh, that one's ready to eat. And then I've got onions down there. We see the water from all the rain came off the roof. And this is Fresno peppers. They're supposed to be big. They're supposed to be at least that size. But when I moved it here, remember it had all the little peppers, and I said, I'm not going to pull them off. So they're ripe, and I've been using them. There's one back there. It's not quite ripe yet. But the new ones are coming in bigger, see? The new ones are bigger. Now that it's been transplanted, and it's kind of done with its shock, got garlic growing in there, and this is another purple tree collard. So that's all that's going on. The potato mint, I'll get to that later. The strawberries, ooh, I have to come back and get that. And then the bird garden. So we kind of did a backwards thing this time. Here's the same plant. This is the mother plant, the one you just saw. When it's out in the sun, it is so purple. Just think of all the nutrients in that. And then if it gets too much shade, not enough sun, then it's more green. So it'll grow either way, whatever way you want to grow it. And of course the pious, got to be careful, the sun is bright. The sun's always brighter after a lot of rain. Everything's clean in the air. The moringas are still growing. It's tipped. Probably chop it down a little bit later and let it come back, or get some more seeds in there. Here's a little one growing. And then I've got different brassicas growing. See, the brassicas absolutely love the weather, but these are established plants. There's a difference between trying to grow it now in the cold, other than catering to what you already have. So what you want to do really is end of summer, you want to start getting a lot of brassicas growing, get them in the ground and protect them from the heat. And then once the heat is gone and the cold kicks in, that's when they'll take off. Look at this. This is amazing. Look at this. This is hanging on the irrigation tubing I use. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all the tomatoes on here. I've got eggplant in there too. Not sure how much is there, but we'll have to get in there and look later when I'm ready. But look at the brassicas. They're just giant. And with the rain, a lot of them fell down. Hear the birds? The birds are all eating. I'm going to walk over there. You're going to see them all fly away. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Start thinking about, we've got the holidays right now in the hillsides. Think about what you want to do. If you want to make hoods for your plants, do it now. When you have a down day and you're not doing much, think about doing, you can use tote lids, you can use placemats, you can go to the dollar store and pick up beware dog signs and use that. I have another way I'm making hoods now. We'll get into that real soon. I'm using the irrigation tubing. It is fantastic. You can do so much with that. I think that's one of my new favorite things. Also think about what you want to buy. If you're going to set up solar fountains, I'm telling you, this is the time to get it because nobody's buying them, and I've seen them as low as $8 and $10. I still get mine from eBay. I've had better luck with those, but if you want to use Amazon, wherever you want to get it from, I'll put some links underneath. Check them out. Look through the various ones that you want to get. A little bird sitting there. And then do that. The other thing too is buying things off season. I bought a little bit of Miracle Grow online. It was a good price, had that shipped, so I'm ready to go when I need it. Things that are off season are going to be cheaper. There's no way around it. So like, for instance, we're going to get into these hand warmers I bought. When I bought them early on, they were cheap. Now they're expensive. Why? Because it's cold. Nobody's doing solar fountains, so the companies still want to sell them, and they've got an abundance of them. So that's the thing, is now the prices are down. Come spring, when everybody's looking, your $10 solar fountains are going to be $20. I've seen them as high as $50, which is ridiculous. You never want to pay $50 for a solar fountain. So that's it. This is going to go. This will all be composted out. This is my oldest dinosaur kale. I've left it right now. The birds climb around on it, but when I get ready, maybe I'll grow something really super good in there. Then I will have it, and there's all the dragon fruit. See how it's growing all over? I'm going to stake it up really cool. I've got ideas on how I want to do it. So we'll go into that more into the spring. You don't want to really propagate this stuff right now. This is a very tropical plant, dragon fruit. So what you want to do with that is if you do get any cuttings, somebody gives you some, don't turn it down. Absolutely not. There's ways of doing it. The thing is, what you do want to do is bring it in the house. Treat it as a house plant. And then come spring, you can put it outside. If you put it out now and try to propagate it and it's fresh, it may just die. And this is something I'll show you as we go on. But I'm growing dragon fruit in a very special way. Gary's growing it in a very disgusting way. We'll talk about that another time. But here's my dragon fruit, which cannot go outside. There's Gary. Look at that. Him with the gang. The gang is there. They want to go into his garden. But let me show you this. Yes, that's dragon fruit, but that's growing by seed. And it's a very special dragon fruit. We actually do not grow this in the yard yet. Hopefully later on we can get some of them growing. But for now, we're having fun. Oh, aren't they cute? They're waiting for him. Very good to get a joint. See at the joint? If you get a piece from there, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is stick it in water or soil and it will root. If you do a cutting, then you have to let the wound dry up for a few days. Sometimes even longer than that until it dries. Otherwise, the whole thing will pull water up and it can rot. So try to get a joint when possible. Then you can just directly plant it or put it in water. But again, this is not the time to really mess with these plants. We're thinking of getting into some other dragon fruits, but the point is, if we get them now, we're risking losing them unless we keep them inside. Look at that. These are some of the fruits that didn't make it. They had fruit, but it was raining, so they did not get pollinated right. Even though a lot of them were hand pollinated, it was just so wet during the rain, so it just didn't do that well. But we had so many. I don't know how many hundreds of dragon fruit. Look at down there. That's Gary's building down there. That's his garden. You have to hike down. We should do that soon and do that. And then the whole hillside of elephant food. And look at how big. This is just amazing how big this is getting. Look at the size of that leaf. All because of the cold weather. And all your brassicas love this weather. But again, established plants, not new plants. These are not new plants, established plants. So that's it. So I thought I'd kind of whiz around. Want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season because I won't be doing a garden tour until the first of the year now. The last garden tour of the year. That's what this is. So, like I said, there's not much to see as far as anything new. This is well-established things. The mint is still growing. The lemon verbena is dying back, but there is still lemon verbena leaves. Those are all leaves. Look at all that. And yes, I do make tea out of it. It is wonderful. That will die back because we haven't hit winter yet. In about a week, we will be into winter. We will have the shortest day of the year, and we're going to start getting super cold. If we think we're cold now, we're going to get colder. Is that actually a flower? No. I'm looking at the dragon fruit up there. I don't think it's a dragon fruit. No, it's just sending up no more shoots. See how the dragon fruit winds around? I've got to be very careful when it's growing through here because it's spiky. And you don't want to get spiked from this. But see all the joints? All these joints. Now this is not a joint. See there, you'd have to cut it and let the wound dry. But those are joints. And if somebody wants to give you some cuttings, bring them in the house and treat them as a house plant. And then when the weather warms up in the spring, put them outside. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. It's cold. I'm going back in. And I'm going to get some other stuff done. I'm working on hoods and stuff for the spring. With that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Gosh, I love these plants. And don't forget, definitely to eat what you grow. Kitty right now, she does get a little bit of broccoli, but mostly something I make in the morning with eggs and greens. That's what she's getting a little bit of, and she's getting all kinds of stuff. Bye-bye.